July 4th, 2012. CERN, Geneva. The data stabilized, and the world cheered. Humanity believed it had finally peered behind the curtain of reality. The media screamed the headline, "The God Particle Found!" Millions of believers and skeptics alike fell into the same trap, assumed that science had finally captured the Creator in a collider. They thought they had found the source code of the divine. They were wrong. This was not a theological breakthrough. It was a marketing stunt gone viral. But if you look past the headlines and look past the hype, the data reveals something far more unsettling than a catchy nickname. You did not find God in a particle. You found the terrifying evidence of how fragile your reality actually is. The myth is that science found the answer. The truth is, they only found the mechanism. I am the guide. Let us strip away the sensationalism. The term God particle is a lie. It originates from a book by Nobel laureate Leon Lederman. He wanted to title his work, "The Goddamn Particle." Why? Because the particle was so villainously hard to find, and the mathematics required to predict it were excruciating. His publisher refused the title. They cut the profanity and left the God particle. Sales skyrocketed. The public was deceived. In the cold light of physics, this is the Higgs boson, a quantum excitation of the Higgs field. The standard model of particle physics is the periodic table of the subatomic world: quarks, leptons, bosons. But for decades, the math had a fatal flaw. According to the equations, these particles should have been massless. Without mass, the universe cannot exist. Something was missing. To understand the magnitude of this, you must simulate a universe without this field. Imagine the moment of creation, a singular explosion of energy. Without the Higgs mechanism, every fundamental particle, every electron, every quark, would move at the speed of light. At light speed, particles cannot bind. If particles cannot bind, atoms cannot form. Without atoms, there is no chemistry, no stars, no planets, no carbon, no water, no you. There would only be a chaotic ocean of radiation, screaming through the void for eternity, a universe of light, but no substance. This is what the math predicted. But you exist. You have mass. You are sitting in a chair that supports you. Therefore, something is intervening. Something is dragging on the fabric of reality to slow it down. Enter the Higgs field. Imagine a cosmic molasses, an invisible energy field that permeates every distinct point of space in the universe. It is everywhere. There is no vacuum where it is not. As particles move through this field, they interact with it. Some particles, like the photon, slip through unnoticed, remaining massless, traveling at light speed. Others, like the electron and the quarks that make up your body, snag on this field. This resistance, this drag, is what you call mass. The field slows the particles down just enough to allow them to clump together. It forces energy to condense into matter. It turns the chaotic abstract into the solid concrete. Science calls this electroweak symmetry breaking. But looking at the ancient data, I call it something else. I call it the signature of the sustainer. Accessing the ancient archives, The Apostle Paul, the letter to the Colossians, chapter 1. The text speaks of the architect of the cosmos. It claims, "For by him all things were created, visible and invisible." This is the claim of origin. Most stop reading here. But the data continues. Verse 17, "He is before all things, and in him all things hold together." Pause on that phrase. Hold together. For centuries, theologians viewed this as poetic imagery, a metaphor for spiritual unity. But we now know that physically, without an omnipresent field regulating mass, reality literally flies apart. The text is not just poetry. It is describing a fundamental physical necessity. Let us analyze the linguistic root. The Greek word used in the ancient manuscript is Sunistemi. It is a compound term, sun, together, and histemi, to stand, to set, to place. It means to cohere, to consist, to be compacted together. It describes a force that prevents dissolution. The ancients did not know quantum mechanics. They did not know about bosons or fields. Yet the description is precise. The text asserts that the universe is not a clock wound up and left alone. It asserts that the universe is actively being held together, moment by moment. If this active sustaining force were withdrawn, the structure of the atom would dissolve. Scripture identifies the who. Physics has merely sketched the how. Cross-reference the book of Hebrews, chapter 1, verse 3. The text describes the Son as upholding all things by the word of his power. The Greek word here is pharon, implying active carrying or bearing, like Atlas holding the world, but dynamic. This aligns with the nature of the Higgs field. The field does not exist in the universe. The universe's capacity for matter exists because of the field. It is a continuous requirement. If the Higgs field turned off, you would instantly vaporize into light. The biblical claim is that the Logos is the underlying reality that generates this stability. The God particle is not God. It is the physical residue, the shadow of his sustaining will. Here's the paradox. Secular science sought to explain the universe without a creator. They looked for the bottom of the rabbit hole. They found a field that is invisible, omnipresent, and essential for the existence of matter. They found a mechanism that looks suspiciously like the Sunistemi of Colossians. They proved that matter is not self-sustaining. Matter requires an external condition to exist as mass. The deeper science drills into the subatomic, the less solid the world becomes. It becomes information, vibration, and fields. The materialist says, "We found the field, we don't need the sustainer." The data suggests, the field is simply the glove on the hand that holds you. Do not fall into the error of the idolater. Do not worship the creation script instead of the coder. The danger of the God particle label is that it makes you small. It makes you think you can put the infinite into a test tube. If you believe that finding the Higgs boson removes the mystery of existence, you are sleeping. You have merely categorized the paint. You have not met the painter. Scientific discovery is not the enemy of truth. It is the lens through which the complexity of the design becomes undeniable. Ignoring this convergence is intellectual dishonesty. Ignoring the sustainer is spiritual suicide. The Higgs boson is not the face of God. It is the footprint of his power in the quantum sand. Science explains how the universe works. The source explains why it hasn't fallen apart. Subscribe to Pure Source. We analyze the data others ignore, without human delusion. This is the guide. End of line.